Switzerland is a country in Western Europe with many mountains and lakes, surrounded by France, Germany, Austria, and Italy. The population is approximately 7,283,000 and the capital is Bern. Switzerland is a neutral country which does not support any side in any wars. It remained neutral in both World War I and World War II. It is also a world center for banking. People from Switzerland are called Swiss. Switzerland, by all accounts, is one of the most prosperous and stable market economies in the world and has a gross domestic product per capita of 41,600. More than 75% of the population live in the Central Plain, which stretches between the Alps and the Jura Mountains and from Geneva in the southwest to the Rhine River and Lake Constance in the northeast. Resident foreigners and temporary foreign workers make up about 20% of the population. The Constitution guarantees freedom of worship and the different religious communities coexist peacefully. Switzerland has many unique attributes that set it apart from other countries of the world. It has a very diverse cultural landscape and a business system of high standards that contribute to it having some of the highest quality of life in the world. It is because of these attributes that it is an attractive country to business owners in other countries. Businesses should be aware of each of these attributes because they could easily become issues when starting a business in Switzerland. Businesses should be able to relate to the Swiss, and more importantly, they should be able to communicate efficiently. One unique feature that Switzerland contains is its diversity of language. There are 4 different languages spoken in the country. Each language is relative to particular locations within the country. German is spoken in the north, French is spoken in the west, Italian is spoken in the southeast, and Rhaeto-Romansh is spoken in the central eastern highlands. It is because of the diversity of language that Switzerland has a great diversity of culture, such as literature, art, music, and its customs. Businesses should be aware of the diversity of language in this country. It could be difficult to start a business in this country if one is not aware of the differences in language from one area to another. The literary scene of Switzerland is one of worldwide recognition. Many well-known writers of the 20th century are from Switzerland. Among them are the Nobel Prize winner Karl Spitteler and the author Johanna Spyri. Spyri is best known for her work of Heidi, the story of a young orphan girl growing up in the mountains of Graubünden. The typical conception of Swiss music is that it's all yodeling and Aufforms. Although this folk style of music is important to the Swiss culture, it is not the only type of music that the Swiss enjoy. They listen to many different styles such as pop, classical, and jazz. There are also many music festivals held each year throughout Switzerland, such as the Montreux Jazz Festival. In addition to the many festivals, many international stars come to Switzerland to have concerts. The film industry is not as well known as the literary scene, despite the 6-time Oscar winner who is from Switzerland, producer Arthur Kohn. However, the country does host the Locarno International Film Festival. Instead of having a prominent film industry, citizens of Switzerland engage themselves in theater. There are many theaters throughout the country varying in size. The Hans Reinhardt Ring is a well-known Swiss theater prize that has been awarded annually to an individual from the theater scene since 1957. There are many international institutions that are located in Switzerland, which some may deem unusual because of their strong belief in neutrality. Geneva is where the Red Cross originated, and it is also the place where United Nations Human Rights Council meets. It is the second largest location of the United Nations after New York, which is the Palace of Nations. It is also a founding member of the League of Nations. This country is a host to other UN agencies as well, such as the World Health Organization. The Swiss celebrate for many reasons throughout the year with different festivals and customs. Some of these reasons are religious, but most of them are to remember historical events. One such festival would be La Escalade, which is celebrated in Geneva. La Escalade is held annually to celebrate the defeat of a surprise attack by troops sent by the Duke of Savoy in 1602. Another important day of celebration is August 1st, which is known as Swiss National Day. On this day, the foundation of the Swiss Confederation in 1291 is celebrated. The surrounding mountains have influenced inhabitants to many athletic pastimes. Traditional Swiss sports include Schwingen, which is a Swiss style of wrestling, and Hornussen, which is a type of alpine baseball. In the winter, frozen lakes are used for curling and horse and dog racing. Swiss also engage in many similar sports as Americans, such as tennis, golf, and basketball. One of the most important values of the Swiss can easily be viewed in its foreign policy. One of the statements in the policy refers to Switzerland having a peaceful coexistence with people of all nations. In order to do this, Swiss refuse to take a side in any disagreement between countries. This position of neutrality is the basis of the country's value system. This concept is even used on a personal level amongst the citizens, resulting in a peaceful coexistence with one another. The things that Swiss attribute value to are families, their jobs, and outside activities such as sports or other customs. Religious beliefs are not considered very important. Initially, the focus is towards training and starting a career before starting a family. It is because of this that women in Switzerland are on average some of the oldest worldwide to give birth. Large families are rare to see. The average number of children per woman is 1.4. Because financial stability holds an enormous significance in their lives, smaller families are preferred. It cannot be questioned as to whether or not the unique qualities of Switzerland make it an attractive place to do business. All of the unique qualities and customs of the country that stem from the 4 different language groups make Switzerland what it is today. It is definitely a place of interest for anyone that is looking to do business in a global market.
Talking about political and legal environment of Switzerland, we need to know about the political and legal system, the role of government on foreign business, the labor force, the legal issues, and the political risks in Switzerland. Switzerland's political and legal system overview. Switzerland's government includes federal state with parliamentary system and direct democracy. The federal constitution adopted in 1848 is the legal foundation of the modern federal state, the second oldest in the world. A new constitution was adopted in 1999, but did not introduce notable changes to the federal structure. The Swiss government has been a coalition of the 4 major political parties since 1959. Switzerland is one of the most capitalistic economies in the world. The role of government on foreign business. The policy of long-term monetary security and bank secrecy has made Switzerland a safe haven for investors. Switzerland has many of the largest and most trustworthy banks in the world. The government creates an economy that is increasingly dependent on a steady tide of foreign investment. The foreign economies can feel reliable and confident to invest in Switzerland. The government also gives priority to industry and trade, the keys to Switzerland's economic livelihood. Switzerland's open national economy makes it highly susceptible to trends in the international environment. The economic upswing had some positive impact on the labor market, which has begun to fade due to the impact of the global financial crisis. 1/4 of the country's full-time workers are unionized. The Swiss economy is characterized by a skilled and generally peaceful workforce. Labor and management relations are amicable, characterized by a willingness to settle disputes instead of resorting to labor action. In general, labor/management relations are good, mostly characterized by a willingness on both sides to settle disputes by negotiations rather than by labor action. Different foreign investment attitudes have been trained to the traditional Swiss labor peace.